Israel has broken the ceasefire just a couple days after forming a new government. So this news here from AJ Plus. Israel confirmed it launched airstrikes on occupied Gaza. The attack comes weeks after Israeli airstrikes in May killed over 250 Palestinians and hours after Israel allowed a far-right nationalist march in occupied East Jerusalem. More on this. So Omar here, who lives in Gaza, said, "I literally was half asleep when I heard the Israeli missile falling outside. I thought I was dreaming. Nightmare. Israeli drones are filling up the sky and buzzing so damn loudly." And on that march, Salrad here tweets out, this is hours before the airstrikes from the Israeli government. Palestinians get cleared out of their neighborhoods so Israelis can gather and chant death to Arabs. The U.S. pays $10,400,000 per day to fund this state-sponsored racism, which again is part of the reason why Americans and the West in general that support the Israeli government need to care about this issue, because we have countries like the US, Canada, the UK supporting this state-sponsored racism. And of course, a lot more ethnic cleansing and the ongoing bombings. And yeah, more here from the AP. Hundreds of Israeli ultranationalists, some chanting death to Arabs, paraded Tuesday in East Jerusalem in a show of force that threatened to spark renewed violence just weeks after a war with Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. Palestinians in Gaza responded by launching incendiary balloons that caused at least 10 fires in southern Israel. Early Wednesday, Israeli aircraft carried out a series of airstrikes at militant sites in Gaza, the first such raids since a shaky ceasefire ended the war last month. There were no immediate reports of casualties in the airstrikes. So first, I got to point out, war. I've talked about this before. The idea of discussing this conflict as a war gives the impression to the average reader that this is an equal-sided war. You have, you know, the military of Israel backed by the world superpowers and the military of Hamas backed by other world superpowers, when that is simply not the case. You have one of the most densely populated areas on earth, Gaza. Palestinians living there in an open-air prison, borders controlled by Israel. Palestinians there cannot leave Gaza. They're stuck there while they're being bombed by the Israeli government. Hamas doesn't have military, doesn't have planes, warplanes to drop bombs. This is a complete power imbalance here, where one side has all the power, is doing the vast majority of the murder, and the other side is getting killed. And in terms of, you know, this is Israel's using this as the, oh, Hamas broke the ceasefire because of they started a few bushfires. Comparing balloons on fire, that was a response to chants like death to Arabs. Comparing bushfires to aircrafts dropping bombs. Clearly, I mean, it's a microcosm of the larger power imbalance here, showing you how disproportionate the response is from the Israeli government. Last thing here from Al Jazeera. They also are the first raids on Gaza since a new Israeli coalition government headed by right-wing nationalist Naftali Bennet took over during the weekend, ending Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-year run as prime minister. The new government on Monday approved a provocative march by Israeli far-right nationalists and pro-settler groups through occupied East Jerusalem. So this government, this new government, I mean, my read on this is that this new government wants to show they are just as brutal as Netanyahu is by having these airstrikes just 2 days after taking power and using balloons on fire as an excuse. Just absolutely disgusting. And I hope this doesn't further escalate, but I don't know how much more allies of Israel can take before finally they do something about this.